Hello and welcome to World Leaders Week number 11, and we're doing numbers, let's do this wrong in the camera, sorry about that. We're doing numbers 31, 32, and 33. We're doing Stefan Löfven of Sweden. He is the Prime Minister. We're doing Vladimir Putin of Russia, and we are doing Nguyen Van Phuc of Vietnam, because several of these countries are actually in our textbooks this week. I did something differently. I wanted to try something a little bit new. I don't know if you can really see it or not, but I circled the countries that we're doing. So here is Sweden, way up here between Norway and Finland. And then, of course, Russia is over here, okay, above Kazakhstan, Mongolia. Right? And then down here we have Vietnam. And you can see Ho Chi Minh City, which Ho Chi Minh was a leader who led Vietnam out of colonization with France. So you can see those as you study them in your text. So we have some really exciting leaders, and I'm really excited. My favorite one, I'm sorry, I'm a little biased. I'll just tell you ahead of time. That's what good historians do. Good historians tell you if they're biased right up front. All right, so I am biased of this next leader because his story is so inspirational. All right, so let's find him. Whoops, sorry. He is, here we go, let me make it bigger. His name is Stefan Löfven. I'm pronouncing it wrong. I actually have a friend, Christina, who just moved to Sweden. She's both a Swedish and U.S. citizen. She just moved to Sweden. She's a single mom, and she loves it. Anyway, she loves Sweden. I don't know that she'll come back. I'll have to go visit her. So Stefan Löfven, I'll have to ask Christina exactly how to say it. What is amazing about him is his inspirational life. He is the Prime Minister of Sweden. Sweden also has a monarch, Carl the 16th, Gustav the 16th. So they also have a monarch. So in Sweden, they don't have like a term limit, because what happens is it's how long Parliament holds, that party, and then it switches from time to time every election for Parliament. So it works a little bit different, more like the English or the Great British, the Great Britain system. So the neat thing about him is, if you look at his early life and education, he was born July 21st, 1957, in Aspudden, a district of Stockholm. He was placed in an orphanage 10 months after his birth. He was later looked after by a foster family. According to the agreement with his family, his birth mother would regain custody of him when she was able to. However, this didn't happen. After meeting his brother, Stefan found out his last name was Löfven, which was in the population register. His foster father, Tor Melander, was a lumberjack and a factory worker. So here is a man who was a foster kid, and he became the Prime Minister of Sweden, and he has done some amazing things. He was in the trade union. You have to serve in the Swedish Air Force. All right, he is a socialist. There's a lot of socialism if you understand it. It's not near as scary. I know sometimes we say socialist and people freak out, just like back during the Red Scare days, but it's not that scary. One thing I want to point out is he has embraced a lot of refugees, and I think that's because, when you don't have a place or a home to call your own, and you grow up as a foster kid, I imagine that he can identify with that sense of of belonging. And so he helped arrange in Europe using railroad, cars, and different modes of transportation to take in a lot of refugees in Sweden, and that has been something that meant a lot to him. And it's so neat when you like look back as to what different leaders are passionate about, as to why. Even if you disagree with them, it's awesome to see their inspiration. So here's some pictures of him. Okay, I just think that's such an amazing story of just foster child rises to the Prime Minister of Sweden. That's awesome. And there's some pictures of him. I was trying to see. Here's a nice smiley one. All right. So that is the Prime Minister of Sweden. All right. Looks a little frustrating. Okay, the next person that we're going to do, number 32, is Russia. We're going to do Vladimir Putin. Okay. Really interesting stuff about Vladimir that I did not know. So you can be in office for 6 years at a time, and he served 2 terms for 6 years, and then he had a friend that served, and that friend made him the prime minister. So they call that tandemocracy, where it's kind of like a tag team. And then, of course, he was reelected in 2011, and he got a second term as well. So there is, so he'll have a total of 8 terms. And they're 6 years apiece. That is interesting to note. His early life, he's the youngest of 3 children. Both of his older brothers died when he was very, very, very young. Well, actually, before his birth, both his brothers died. His parents lived through World War II. Okay. His father was wounded in World War II severely. His maternal grandmother was killed by German occupiers. Right. Okay. So he knows judo and sambo. Sambo is a type of martial arts that's known kind of just to Russia. Very interesting. He went to Leningrad University. His thesis was the most favored nation trading principle in international law. He was required to join the Communist Soviet Party, Union Party, and remained a member until 1991. All right, and then he had a professor that really was influential and influenced his career. He was in the KGB. I didn't know that. So he was a second chief directorate of counterintelligence. And then he was made first chief, so he was in the KGB. All right, and there's some different pictures of him. His first premiership, acting president from 2000, second term. All right, and then it's, it talks about his friend Dmitry was elected his successor and made him the prime minister. Okay. So it looks a little fishy, I'm not going to lie, but he didn't extend term limits or anything like that, not yet anyway. Okay, and here's some pictures of him on Getty Images. That was the Vietnam summit. Why aren't we? Well, I'm just trying to show you some. And of course, we have the shirtless images that you see all the time that people are kind of making a big deal about. Whoops, we lost pictures of him. All right, whoops. All righty, let's go back to Getty Images. All right. Machine gun with a horse. I'd love to know the background of this. Oh, look at him in his Russian winter attire. Fishing, shirtless. Interesting. But you know, I believe it's Slovakia has a woman, and she has been pictured in a bikini recently. So, oh, Putin dancing with a classmate. There's an old one. Cool. All right. All right. So the next person that we're going to look at is Nguyen Van Phuc, and he is the Prime Minister of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam. Okay, and they are actually, he's a member of the Communist Party because it still is communist. It does say that there are elections, and they were every 5 years, and you can serve 2 terms. But we don't know exactly how free those elections are. Communist Party of Vietnam. Oh, sorry. All right, so what else do we want to talk about? See, he took economic management, so a lot of presidents are economists. George H. Bush was an economy major or economic major. All right. His father was in politics as well. Looks like he was a career politician. He has 2 children. All right. Okay, and like I said, my computer's acting strange. That's why I've had trouble uploading. So here's some different pictures of him. He's meeting President Trump. Here he is at the Vietnam summit, remember? That's some other pictures were there. I can't seem to get it to come up. Here's at the White House. He's already been to the White House. Whoa. Still trying to get back there. There we go. That was the summit. Okay. And his wife. There he is again. Okay. And those are our 3 leaders for this week. All right. Hope you learned something, and hope you recognize our world leaders.